This is a piece of Chinese drywall that is creating havoc around the southern United States, especially in the state of Florida, in Louisiana, but in a number of other states. Drywall is normally made from something known as gypsum. The gypsum is a byproduct of phosphate mining in America, and it's pressed and it's put on the outside with pieces of kind of cardboard-like paper, and then as a house is being built, the studs are put up and the drywall is put up. What is happening in a period somewhere in the range of 2004 since, wallboard needs were escalating, particularly in the aftermath of the '04 and '05 hurricanes, and they started to import this wallboard from China. And what is happening now is that people in these houses where the Chinese wallboard were put up are getting sick, respiratory problems, their silver is turning black, and the copper coils on their air conditioners are not only turning a black color instead of what copper normally does, which is green, but are corroding the copper coil so that has to be replaced. And there are houses in Florida that I have been in that in fact have replaced the air conditioning coils 3 times. Now, this is no fault of the homeowner. And the builders who are having financially enough difficulty now, the home builders, they thought they were buying a good product. And yet we have people, estimated as many in America as 60 to 100,000 homes, and we think in Florida in the range of 36 to 50,000 homes, that people literally, their doctors are telling them to vacate their houses. When I went in several of these houses in Florida, I am very allergic to mold and mildew. I can walk in a moldy room and my respiratory system starts clogging up. Same thing happened to me when I went into these houses. And so you can see the trauma that a number of families have gone through. Well, we tried to get the Consumer Product Safety Commission to do what it's supposed to do, which is to ban the imports, to start the testing, and ultimately to go in and impound this material. And under the acting chairman of the CPSC, they have been foot dragging the whole way. They have done testing. Now, the test results have come back from EPA, and they say that they note when Chinese wallboard is tested to find out the chemical composition different from normal American, they find that it has differences in 3 elements: sulfur, and thus the rotten egg smell when you walk into a home like this; strontium, which may be an element that has some link to nuclear waste; and traces of things found in acrylic paint. The reason Mary and I are standing here today is that they need to go to the next step of testing, which is to put it in a confined area and subject it to the conditions that are in our states, which is heat and humidity, and test what is baking off that could be the result of these respiratory problems. And that, the acting chairman of the CPSC says, they don't have enough money. So Mary and I are offering an amendment to this supplemental appropriations bill for only $2 million, of which $1.5 million would go to this testing that I just outlined for you. Other remaining dollars would go to an awareness campaign, and then the other remaining dollars would go to coordination with the EPA on the further testing. This is an enormous problem. It's one that consumers who have their entire life savings in their home and are having to vacate their home and go out and rent something, and still trying to pay the mortgage payments on the home that they can't even live in. You can see the enormous problem that we have, especially since this may well affect 100,000 homes throughout the southern United States. All right, this is part of an air conditioning unit. These are the ducts, and as you can see, these are the coils. Now notice, they should be shiny like this end copper, but notice how they are all now black. If you go and you take the end of that, or a knife or a screwdriver, and you scrape on that, you can get down to the shiny copper. When copper ages, it turns green. That's not what's happened here. And as a result of this, it is corroding these coils so much that this is no joke, in one house, just to keep the air conditioner functioning, they've had to replace the coils 3 times. All right, let's show you some of the other things. Here's another example of a copper wire. You can see its color. You can see here the corrosion where some of the copper is still coming through. All right, it's happening on mirrors. You know, the silver backing on mirrors? You can see this mirror is pitted all along there. Here is a shower head. Well, you can obviously see this. In one case, in a home in Bradenton, Florida, the couple, an elderly couple, retired, had just been on a cruise to Mexico, Cozumel. Just a month before, she brought back a silver bracelet. 1 month later, when I went in her house, I saw that silver bracelet, and it was totally black. Now, silver does not corrode that quickly. This is what has happened. We've had mamas and daddies having to vacate their homes because their pediatrician has told them, I can't pinpoint the cause of this respiratory problem with the child, but you've got to get the child out of that environment. And I told you my own personal experience walking in these houses, where I immediately started to get stuffy and clog up. So we've got a serious situation. The CPSC, we had to almost beat them over the head to get started. Finally they did, but this is just a preliminary report from the EPA, and they're crying, well, we don't have enough money. Well, that's what Senator Landrieu and I want to do, is because we can't wait around for this.